Hello and welcome to another exciting breakfast with Unity. I'm your host Max Moreau, and today we're going to be doing another Fog of War episode, but this time we're going to be doing it RTS style. So in RTSs, we don't care as much about where the we don't care about walls so much. We just care about where the units are and be able to see where they are. So we're still going to do this as a single unit test for right now. You can set this up on. We're going to set this up in a way that works for hopefully for multiple units. And so what we're going to do is, what are we going to do? I just realized I may not set this up for multiple units. This may take more than one episode too, because there's a couple of components to this. We're going to do the easiest portion first, which is just making the enemies disappear based on a radius from a unit, and then we'll see what we have time for after that. So I've went ahead and copied the line of sight Fog of War project, which this is what we already had, where if you can see, go behind walls, enemies can't be seen. And they just use a raycast to figure that out. And we put this script on the enemies. In this particular case, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to actually be putting the script on the player, and we'll see how that works. So we're going to create a C# script, and we're going to call this Fog of War site is what I'm going to call it. And this is just going to have a public float radius equals, what are we going to call it? Default the radius. See, let's do 5.0. Let's do 1.0f. Now let's do 5. 10. I've decided on 10. Save. So all we're going to do, this is just the default values. We can, of course, adjust this as we go. So what we're going to do is, in update, is we're going to use, and we're going to have one more thing. We're going to need a public layer mask. But what we're going to do in update is we're going to do if Physics.OverlapSphere. Physics.OverlapSphere is not an if statement type thing. So Physics.OverlapSphere, what it does is it returns a collider array of everything that was overlapped in this sphere. This is much cheaper than doing radial checks, like distance checks for each object. It still is a collision operation, so it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's certainly much cheaper than actually doing the distance check. This uses the physics system underneath the hood, and has a lot of optimizations to it. So what we have is we have position, radius, and layer mask. So our position is going to be transform.position, of course, and our radius is going to be our radius, and our layer mask is going to be our layer mask. Also, we should set the layer mask to -1, so that it's easier to work with. That means it'll default to everything, so at least we can see that things are working. So what this returns is a list of colliders. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate on those colliders. So for each collider in Physics.OverlapSphere. And so now col will be called. You'll have, for each object that's underneath you, we can do something with col. We're going to just do something very basic at first. We're just going to turn on or off the collider, or turn it on. Oh shoot, turning off. All right, so we can't just do that. Let's just turn on the visibility for now, so that we can see how this works. So we're going to do col.gameObject.enabled. Oh wait, we don't want to enable the game object. Sorry, col.renderer. Can I do that? Yeah. .enabled equals true. So let's just do this, save, and what we're going to do is we're going to modify the level slightly. We're going to make it so this wall isn't in the way. We're going to make sure that the units are far enough away, and we're going to set our spheres to not have renderers enabled for right now. So we're going to turn off the mesh renderers, and we're also going to remove the line of sight rendering from these guys because we don't want that happening. So if we hit play right now, they'll probably all disappear. Oh wait, nothing's going to happen because we don't see them at all. So we're going to put on the player our Fog of War site, and I'm going to go ahead and make the radius 5 for right now for testing, and we're going to hit play and see how this goes. There's no render attached to the player game object, but the script is trying to access it. So we've got a couple little problems. This is probably affecting our ability to do this. So what we need to do is we need to check to see if the renderer is available first. So let's do, we're probably going to change how this actually works ultimately, and this is definitely going to be a two-parter. So renderer dot if renderer, sorry, if col dot renderer does not equal null, then we set the renderer enabled true. Save, play. There they are. So you saw them fly in there, and as soon as they got within 5 units of us, they appeared. And if we were able to move a lot faster, which we could probably do, let's just make the player move. Where's the player? Move to click location. We're going to make the movement speed 100, so we can get away from things. Oh, yeah. Well, they don't disappear because we don't have that code in yet, but that's appropriate. So we have the very basic stuff. So now the tricks here are, we've got two problems. So one, we need to figure out when to disable these. Obviously, disabling them would require us to know if they got in here or not. And what I think we're going to have to do anyways, because we also have the problem of multi-units. So if you have 2 units that each have a vision radius, we want it so that if one unit sees them, the other unit, that they enable, but they wouldn't want to disable when the other unit tries to see them, right? Like if we had like somehow an if-else statement, it wouldn't work in this case because the one would enable it and then the next one would say, hey, is it within my range? And then they might disable it. So we need to worry about that little situation. So what I'm going to do instead of just telling the renderer to be enabled is we're instead going to send a message to these things. So we're going to do send message. And I'm going to call this, what should I call this? Let's call it scene is what we're going to call it. Actually, let's call it, yeah, scene. Actually, I'm going to call it observed. That sounds more fancy. So, send message options, we're going to do send message options dot don't require receiver. This means that we don't care. If we send this to the wall, we don't care about the wall. So, so what we're going to do now is we're going to save this, and this won't do anything. If we go back and play, it'll just do nothing. It's just going to send messages. So we're going to have something to receive the messages to. So we're going to create a C# script called fog of war visibility. And this is what we're going to put on our spheres. We're going to create fog of war visibility. Sorry about all the... Why did it call it of war? Oh, did I? Forgot to do this. Hold on. There we go. Didn't capitalize W, so it didn't know where to put the spaces. So, fog of war visibility, the script cannot be loaded. That's fine because we probably didn't do anything with it. So let's see what's in here. So we need to make sure that these match. There we go. That'll fix that problem. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have a function called void observed. And what this is going to do is we're going to set our renderer dot enabled equals true. And then the way we're going to do the not observed is we're going to do a void update, and we may have to tweak this a little bit, but I'm just going to try this at first. And in update, we're going to do, actually, let's not do render.enabled directly. Let's do private bool observed, lowercase, equals false. So all we're going to do is just set observed equals true. And then an update is if observed. Then we're going to do renderer.enabled equals true. else renderer.enabled equals false. Now, we still have to set observed to false at certain points. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and set observed to false each frame. And this requires some order of operation stuff, so this may not work the first time. We're just going to try it and see how it goes. And so so all these spheres have Fog of War visibility on them, and we have our player, and so hopefully if we hit play, okay, we don't see them. So some part of our combination of scripts is not quite working yet. So let's get rid of the this line and just see what happens. Save, play. Still nothing. All right. So it's called observed. Fog of War site is send message observed. Okay. Do these have colliders? They have colliders. All right. What are we doing wrong here then? If observed, renderer.enabled equals true, else renderer.enabled equals false, observed equals true. Let's put debug log in here, debug.log, observed. And then let's also put in our object context here, so that's just game object. This makes it so that when this fires off, we can click on it and find out which object in the scene is set it. So if we hit play, hopefully we'll get some of these, but we might not. Yeah, we didn't get any. Does the players still have something on them for doing this? Not crazy, right? Fog of War site, looks like it. Says everything. Alright, so let's, so this is obviously not working. Did I spell observed right in both places? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it. Huh. Alright, let's keep looking at what's going on here. Glad I already said that we were doing 2 episodes. So, it's probably something really obvious and someone's in the comment. Here, let's just double check to make sure that the comments don't have someone complaining that I'm doing something really dumb. Alright, good deal. So let's get this figured out real quick. So, Fog of War site, everything. So let's just debug.log any colliders that come in here. Observing. What did I do? I typed some weird stuff at the end there. Observing, and then just do col.gameObject. Save. So we should get a lot of these messages. Hit play. We should get them like every frame. And most of them have been, okay, the spheres say that they are observing. Oh, I'm doing that classic mistake again. I always do this when I do send message. I just sent the message to ourselves. We need to do col.sendMessage. Silly me. Alright, so this will fix it. Save. I've done this before and it's embarrassing. Hit play. Shouldn't be embarrassing if you do it. I'm just saying it's embarrassing that I forgot. Okay, so cool. They came into view, so that's awesome. So now let's see if this works. If we turn observed to false each frame and hit play, do they still come into view? They do. Excellent. And if we move out of the way, so I'm going to move my speed way faster. Yep, they become not visible. Excellent. So that's cool. All right, so I'm going to say that that's the start of our thing here. We'll cover the actual making the terrain darken when you're not in the area so you can see the radius of the fog of war easier. And that we're going to be doing some stencil tricks, I think. We'll see how that actually turns out. So, thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me @Dragfire. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/CoheedWithUnity. Thank you for your support. See you guys tonight with another full episode of Cooking with Unity, where we're working on our Diablo clone, Scape. Have a good one.